Hey there, welcome back to the archives. So I'm gonna do one more because I'm running late. So I'm gonna do one more on Angela Davis. I'm just gonna share two of the books I have here, and then I'll do. I also wanted to do some books I have from Nana Madankwa. So I wanted to visit the Ghana Girls, and then I also wanted to share Adrienne Marie Brown. So I'm gonna get to Nana Madankwa and Adrienne Marie Brown and follow it, and we will not cancel each other in the next ones on a later date. But today, before I go, I just want to share two Angela Davis books here. Angela Y. Davis, Are Prisons Obsolete? Are Prisons Obsolete? And Freedom is a Constant Struggle. Ferguson, Palestine, and the Foundations of a Movement. This forward is by Cornell West. Um, what does this say? I got this one signed by her. Yeah, I got this one signed by Angela Davis. She came to Ottawa, I think, in 2014. When did Angela Davis come to Ottawa? This one is not signed. Um, so let's start with Our Prisons Obsolete. That's a picture of Angela Davis. For those of you who don't know her, controversial figure in the mainstream. Some people will smear her and say, "Oh, she's a cop killer," and like people call her a communist and all of that stuff. But Angela Davis has been doing this work for a very, 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 very long time. Um, One of my favorite Aquarius girls. So, in this brilliant, thoroughly researched book, Angela Davis swings a wrecking ball into the racist and sexist underpinnings of the American prison system. Her arguments are well-wrought and restrained, leveling an unflinching critique of how and why more than 2 million Americans are presently behind bars, and the corporations who profit from their suffering. Davis explores the biases that criminalize communities of color, politically disenfranchising huge chunks of minority voters in the process. Uncompromising in her vision, Davis calls not merely for prison reform, but for nothing short of new terrains of justice. Another invaluable work in the open media series of America's last truly fearless, one of America's last truly fearless public intellectuals. That was by Congresswoman Cynthia McKinney. So, about the author, Angela Yvonne Davis is a professor of history of consciousness at the University of California, Santa Cruz. Over the last 30 years, she has been active in numerous organizations challenging prison-related repression. Her advocacy on behalf of political prisoners led to 3 capital charges, 16 months in jail awaiting trial, and a highly politicized campaign, then acquittal in 1972. In 1973, the National Committee to Free Angela Davis and all political prisoners, along with the Attica Brothers, the American Indian Movement, and other organizations, founded the Alliance Against Racial and Political Repression, of which she remained co-chairperson for many years. In 1998, she was one of the 25 organizers of the historic Berkeley Conference, Critical Resistance Beyond the Prison Industrial Complex. And since that time, has served as a convener of research group bearing the same name under the auspices of the University of California Humanities Research Institute. Angela is author of many books, including Blues, Legacy, and Black Feminism, Gertrude Ma Rainey, Bessie Smith, and Billie Holiday. Her new book, forthcoming from Random House, is Prisons and Democracy. This was published in 2003. So this is Are Prisons Obsolete? And then I'm going to end on Freedom is a Constant Struggle by the same author. This is Ferguson, Palestine, and the Foundations of a Movement. Um, in these newly collected essays, interviews, and speeches, world-renowned activist and scholar Angela Y. Davis illuminates the connections between struggles against state violence and oppression throughout history and around the world. Reflecting on the importance of Black feminism, intersectionality, and the prison abolitionism for today's struggles, Davis discusses the legacy of previous liberation struggles, from the Black freedom movement to the South African anti-apartheid movement. She highlights connections and analyzes today's struggles against state terror, from Ferguson to Palestine. Facing a world of outrageous injustice, Davis challenges us to imagine and build the movement for human liberation. And in doing so, she reminds us that freedom is a constant struggle. And so, here is someone worthy of the ancestors who delivered her. Angela Davis has stood her ground on every issue important to the health of our people and the planet. It is impossible to read her words or hear her voice and not be moved to comprehension and gratitude for her incredible luck in having her with us. That was from Alice Walker, another Aquarius girl. So, yes, this is Angela Davis. We've already talked a little bit about her, about the history. She's one of America's most provocative public intellectuals. And so, again, if you are looking to understand what's happening in this moment right now and how some of our elders, this was published in 2016, how some of our elders have been doing this work for generations and generations and generations and generations, right? Yeah, over 50 years she's been in the game. So I've been thinking about how to define, like simply define fascism, socialism, communism, and even democracy with somebody. And I don't know, I'm gonna parse it out a little bit later, but some of your definitions? I've been thinking a lot about Jesus Christ and time, like BCE, CE, and the teachings of Jesus, and how, depending on what side you're on, how you come to understand Jesus is really different. But I've been thinking of Jesus and what he was advocating for um, along the lines of socialism and communism. And I know that right-wing conservatives would be like, Jesus is not a communist. Jesus was not a socialist. But like, if you actually do a deep dive on who and what Jesus did, those will probably be the terms associated with him. So I've been thinking a lot about that. How do you define socialism? What is a communist to you? Who informs your communism, right? Is it Marx? Is it Marx? Is it Black feminists? Is it religious leaders? So those are that's what I wanted to share. I'll be back on here later to do Mary Nana Madankwa. Um, so today is what? It's Saturday. It's 2:22. It's November 8th, 2:22. I hope you have a good weekend. Until next time, in solidarity.